no need to really, dilute the stock at from where we are today. In the future, don't know, but it's it's a mechanism that we can use to, maybe go out and start acquiring some other, smaller companies that are complementary and accretive to what we do, and you know, use that as a mechanism to increase our revenues and our margins, outside of doing it organically.
Does 8.6% interest on your money sound appealing to you? Yeah, I thought so. How about the world of crypto? Are you itching to get involved but don't know where to start? BlockFi's got you covered. They make it easy and fair, something your regular banks will never do. With the BlockFi interest account, you can put your crypto to work and earn monthly interest payments in the asset type that you deposit with BlockFi, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, USD Coin, and Tether balances over time. Crypto has been viewed as a very volatile asset. However, stablecoins like USD Coin and Tether track the US dollar. You can convert $100 into 100 USD Coin and gain up to 8.6% APY on that. You can also get up to 6% APY on Bitcoin. You can see the insane value proposition this offers versus what you would get in your regular bank's savings account. Now, if you use my URL, blockfi.com/Jakeonomics, you'll get up to a $250 crypto bonus with a deposit of $25 or more in crypto. The more you deposit, the more you get. The link is in the description if you want to try out BlockFi today. Hello everyone and welcome back to Jakeonomics. Today I have a special guest with me. He is the founder and CEO of Direct Communication Solutions. The ticker for this one is DCSI on the CSE and DCSX on the OTCQX. The stock closed today at 155 Canadian and 124 USD. Chris, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on and here to discuss your promising IoT company.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Awesome. So Chris, let's kind of jump right into it. Before getting into your business and breaking down what you guys are doing, which I think is very interesting, let's kind of talk about IoT as a whole. And I want you to kind of break down, why do you think it's become so essential in our modern lives, as well as how you got into it?
So IoT to me really, it's everything and it's anything, right? So I look at IoT as, it's harvesting big data from any type of asset. It could be a machine, it could be a vehicle, it could be a glycol chiller, an HVAC unit. Those machines, they provide big data that we can harvest, and then we can give back to users in a real-time usable format that fits their business needs, that allows them to, effectively and efficiently run their businesses. So, IoT, it's really about automating. It's about alerting you and telling you that you could have a potential problem that you can address before it becomes a disaster. And, everything that does something that's a valuable asset, it has data. And that's really what we do, is we harvest that data and give it back to, to our customers in a usable fashion so they can run their business.
Very cool. What are the needs that IoT, cloud, big data, and AI, what problems are they helping solve exactly?
It really depends on the vertical market that you're addressing or looking at. If you look at the fleet management side, it's everything from vehicle diagnostics, driver behavior, predictive maintenance, tire pressure monitoring, ultrasonic fuel level sensors, temperature, pretty much anything that you can monitor from that vehicle and use that data for. If you look at a facility, it could be temperature, it could be water leak detect, door open, door close, lights, HVAC, hot water heaters, anything that, regardless of the vertical, I guess the best way to describe it is any high value asset. If you want to monitor that and use that data, we can help you by providing you with an IoT solution.
Mm-hmm. You guys are very much in the sensor technology space. What gets you the most excited about this space?
It is still in infancy stage, and the technology, the creativity, the you know all the different products, solutions, pieces that are you know being developed out there. It's in 20 plus years in this space. I mean, we've literally gone into hyperdrive. I mean, with 4G and 5G now, the options are limitless. And I think over the next 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to get even more exciting and creative.
The whole space in general, the IoT space and the AI space, what do you think is difficult about it in terms of, learning the ropes and really learning how to use and develop that technology?
Honestly, I think the biggest challenge is, IoT is such a broad term that every customer has a different use case, right? So, it's hard to go in and say, here's my facility management or here's my fleet management solution, because everybody's going to have different requirements. So, they may be in the same vertical, but they're all customized to that end user's requirements. And that's really where, we excel because of our, experience and our, we're still a relatively small company. We're very flexible. We listen to our customers and we give them what they need, and we don't try to jam that square peg in that round hole. Right. So we're very collaborative with our customers. Right. We just want to understand what their problems are and how do we solve those problems.
And that's how any successful business will run, right? It's got to be collaborative and not, that's 100%. How do you think the pandemic has affected not only your company, but again, the space in general? Do you think obviously it's accelerated a lot of things, but maybe if you want to delve into the details.
I think the pandemic personally has, it's really changed the way that business is going to operate and function in the future, right? I mean, examples are, calls like this, meetings online, there's not really the need to travel as much as before. And then, on the other side, it's really forced people to, go back to their core competencies. And, a lot of our customers now, we identified early on in the pandemic that, they were working remote and they had to go back to being, back to their core competency of being a sales organization. And then we pivoted with them and, started providing more logistics services, engineering services, and doing a lot of that work up front for them. So we could just ship them products, they could turn around and ship it to their customers and, start solving problems. But, it's been tough. It was a tough year. We did fairly well through last year, all things considered. We invested heavily at the end of the year. We hired quite a few new headcounts to, really position ourselves and set us up for success in this year and next year and beyond.
Very cool. And speaking of your company, obviously you guys are developing sensors and software. Yep. Can you break down at a high level what exactly your company does?
So at the end of the day, we are to really boil it down, we're a solutions integrator. So, when you look at IoT solutions, there are really three basic core components to every IoT solution: hardware, data, wireless data connectivity, and platform or UI. We're in a position where we are agnostic on a lot of fronts, and we can go to, based on our customer requirements, we can go out and source the right piece of hardware for them, the right data plan with, all of our relationships across the board, and then integrate all those pieces together and really remove all the complexities of IoT and give our customers, the solution that solves their real world problems.
Very cool. Now, before we dive deeper into your company and talk about, everything else, what is your skin in the game? Basically, because with small cap companies, to me, I think it's very important that a company is founder led, which this one is, And I also like to see a founder and a CEO who's heavily invested himself or herself into the company. So, what is your skin in the game? And also, what is like your end vision with this? What is your goal with this?
You know, at the end of the day, started this in the spare bedroom in my house. Left corporate America. You know, took the leap, and it was really one of those. It was a life changing moment for me where do I keep working for corporate America and dealing with that, or do I roll the dice and do it myself? And
That's an easy
it,
answer.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
corporate America is a great experience, but you know, you don't have the flexibility that you have when you can control your own destiny, and you can make the changes necessary and pivot with the market and the technology. Um,
Yeah.
Heavily invested. This is everything I have is invested in this company, and it's what I do every day. It's how I feed my family, how I keep my employees on staff, and keep it moving. So this is 100% of my life right now, outside of
Mm-hmm.
my kids. I should say that in case they're listening.
Yeah, that's they would take a little bit of offense to that.
Yeah,
Um, nah, but your company right now is I was going to say relatively unknown, but I'm going to say it's very unknown to a lot of people in the investing world. It's fairly new, and it's kind of really flying under the radar. Very low float, low share count, and the shareholders that you do have, a lot of them. If correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, like it's a lot of people very close to the company. Is that true?
it's a lot of people that I've had a relationship for a long time. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
it's people that they've seen where we came from, they see where we are today, they see the vision that we put in place and the strategy to really grow the company and be successful, and I think they're excited like I am. The future looks very, very good for everybody in this space right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the space. What about you though? What are your competitive advantages compared to the other ones, to the other companies in the space?
I would say first and foremost, my team, my executive team, my staff, all the employees. We've got a very good group of experienced and knowledgeable people around me, which ultimately makes me look good. But and I thank them for that. But it's really about the people that we have, right? It's the people and the products and solutions that we're creating and delivering to the market. And you're right. We have historically we've kind of been behind the emerald curtain, if you will, and enabled other companies. And we've really spent the last 8-12 months positioning ourselves for success on the SaaS side ourselves, just based on our experience and the people we know and the contracts we have in the industry.
You guys just got your largest order in your company's history, so congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations on that. It was announced for $6.88 million, and you also got your My Fleet endorsed by U.S. Cellular. So, can you kind of go into what this means for your company moving forward, and also like kind of maybe a litmus test as to you know where this could lead to?
Right. So on the first one, yes, we did just receive the largest PO in our company history that we've ever had at one time. That that's really a direct result of the technology transition that's going on in our space. So you know, the cellular carriers are shutting down their 2G, 3G, older technology network access, and they're migrating everybody to 4G. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of variables in the market today. Long lead times with the pandemic, with supply chain, with component shortages, so on. So there are hundreds of thousands of devices that are still out in the field that have to be replaced and upgraded from a hardware perspective. So it's really kind of an unforeseen. Well, I shouldn't say unforeseen, but it's really kind of a nice bonus for us because all those products that we sold in the past for 2G, 3G we're now going back and, working with those customers to put a plan in place to upgrade those, right? So
Yeah.
it's replacing the units that we already sold with new units that we'll sell, and then continuing to help our customers, move forward and grow their business. So I think, the shutdown periods, probably the end of next year, 2022, but, people are really starting to, take it serious now. And we're really working with our customers and our partners to make that transition easy. So, it's it's something that's, very, very, it's very opportunistic for us right now, right? So it's good. On the other side, it's just continuing to build out our infrastructure and invest in our, future, which is the SaaS and the sensors and the, all the other things that have recurring revenue attached to them.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of revenue, and by the way, Chris, I mean, I did, I did I made a top 3 kind of like IoT AI small cap companies in the space. I made a video on like my top 3 in the space, probably like over 2 weeks ago now. It was on, and you guys were a part of that, because I think, based on where you are today and based on what you've shown so far and based on your current valuation specifically, like I feel like you guys are undervalued and have a bright future in the space, because I do really like this space for exponential growth in the coming years for reasons that you've outlined. And now you just spoke about revenues and all that kind of stuff. And so I think it's important we do touch on it. And you did release the 2020 earnings not too long ago. Can you speak about the revenues and growth happening and kind of where you see things going in the next little while?
Yeah, I mean, again, last year was a very difficult year for everybody in this space. All things considered, I'm extremely pleased that we did what we did, and not only doing the revenue side, but we also had the opportunity to invest in the company for the future growth as well. So, I think this year and next year, not being able to disclose numbers, but I think there will be a significant shift towards the SaaS side of the business over the next 12 to 18 months.
Totally agree with you. Okay. Your products, you have the My Fleet, you have other products as well. I won't take your thunder away. So can you talk to us about your 4 main products?
So we have a couple of brands that we have today. So we have My Fleet, which is our fleet management SaaS offering. And within My Fleet, it's really what do you want to do or capture or monitor or manage that with that vehicle. So we can do everything from basic dots on a map, geozones, all the way through ELD, electronic logging of data, dash cams. You brought up US Cellular and My Fleet Plus Vision. We just launched that with them. They're now the 4th largest carrier in the US, and it's getting some attention. And there is an AI component to that dash cam offering that we have for drowsy driving, distracted driving, driving too close. And it's really a tool to be able to train your drivers, but it's also a tool to on the other side really protect you from frivolous lawsuits or anything like that, because then you have that video component to it. And then the other one we have is My Sensors. That's our Bluetooth sensor solution that we just released. So we've designed our own sensor. It's Bluetooth 5. In one sensor, we can monitor temperature, humidity, light, air pressure, proximity, accelerometer, door open, door close, and a multi-purpose button. So, I think we're in front of the industry right now with the sensor technology by being able to offer one sensor that does 8 sensor functions. And, historically within the sensor world, it's been one sensor for one sensor function. So you'd have one temperature sensor, one humidity, one door open, door close. That just exponentially increases the cost of the hardware, and it makes it harder for some of the SMB type, you know, businesses to absorb that cost. So ours is very, very simple, very intuitive, and it's a easy to install IoT ecosystem. You can buy it, install it in one day, and be up and running, and have that communication link between your machines or your assets back to you.
Right. I think that integration component and the convenience and the ease of it is, invaluable.
Right.
So if we look at, a company like Zergo, right? If we look at a company called Zergo and they got bought out by Sensata, right? And that was for 400 million. Do you think this is, and by the way, so everybody knows, like that was 16x EBITDA, 4x revenue. So, this is a big multiple. And so
Yeah.
is this your aim for DCSX or DCS and like to be bought out, or what are you thinking? Or do you think you'll kind of, you really want to take this to the next level before even thinking of that?
I mean, as far as Zergo goes, good for them. Great group of people. We've been working with them for quite some time. Very happy for them, and more importantly, I think it sets the valuation bar at a reasonable level for our space. And I think if anything, it should go higher as we continue down this path of all these emerging technologies.
Right.
From my side, I wouldn't say no to anything, but I'm not ready to ride off into the sunset yet. And it's too exciting. I love my job. I love coming to work. I love the people I work with. I love the creativity, and I love being able to solve problems. And I'm not ready to give that up. And I think if we continue to deliver and execute on our strategy, we will be around for a very long time. And I'm not ready to give it up yet. There's too much to be done and too many cool things to do right now.
Nice. I like to hear that. That's definitely what I like. But when you are done, what does riding off in the sunset, what does that mean to you?
Dropping my kids off at school every day, going to play golf, and picking them up in the afternoon. And
Is that a picture of golf behind you? I feel like that's a.
oh, that's my. Here, I'll give you a quick video, a quick snap.
There you go.
That's a picture of my first hole in one. So that's one of my bucket list
Congrats.
items I checked off. So yeah,
That's a big milestone right there.
it's something I never thought would happen, and now I want everybody to know that I'm in that club. So it's
Yeah, well, sheesh.
and in all fairness, it's a life lesson that I used for my children. I have 4 kids, and it's a life lesson I have for my kids, which is never give up. Right? I've been playing golf for 20 years. Finally got my first hole in one. If you give up, you never get one. So it was a good life lesson for my kids as well.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of your share structure, obviously it's a very tight structure. I think it's like 19 million and then 7 million tradable, which essentially means that you're putting shareholders and prospective shareholders in a very good position because I have spoken about share structure a lot recently on the channel and like in my Discord and all this kind of stuff, and how it affects the actual stock and stuff, and even the company in raising capital. And so I find this is going to give you lots of flexibility to raise capital in the future while keeping shareholder value high, right? So I think that's a very attractive component of investing in your company right now at these levels. And another thing is that with floats this small, well, guess what? When catalysts come, they hit hard and it moves the stock a lot. So just for viewers trying to understand, okay, what does this mean? Well, that's what that means. So on your end, though, what are you planning to do with that? Are you planning to kind of keep it that way in terms of the share structure? What are the plans for you?
I mean, I would say today, yeah, no need to really, dilute the stock in, at from where we are today. In the future, don't know, but it's it's a mechanism that we can use to, maybe go out and start acquiring some other, smaller companies that
Yeah,
are complementary and accretive to what we do, and you know, use that as a mechanism to increase our revenues and our margins, outside of doing it organically. So I mean,
absolutely.
today we're 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 happy with the way it's structured. I give a lot of credit to my board members and the people that helped me structure that.
Hmm.
I think we've got a very attractive, share structure right now.
I would agree. I think
Yeah.
it's one of the one of the selling points on your stock and company right now. It definitely helps a lot. Um, Now moving towards, for you, what is the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to in the next year or so?
It will be the launch of our Brucey wireless keg monitoring system.
Hmm.
So it's another product that we have that it kind of got put on the back burner from the development side over the last year because of the pandemic. But, we're really going to make a strong play at the draft beer industry and monitoring and monetizing
Okay,
that for bars and restaurants. So same concept,
cool.
we designed it so it monitors flow down to the ounce, temperature, CO2 pressure, foam over beer, and shut off valves. And then it's architected in a way that then you can expand on that with our sensors to other assets or machines, or places within your business. So, when you really, not to nerd out on it, but when you look at the beer industry, 2019 it was like $220 billion. It was down 22% last year because of the pandemic, but the average loss on a keg of beer across the industry is about 20%. So to put that in financial terms on how we can, monetize that and create the ROI, a keg of beer has 1,984 ounces. 20% is roughly 400 ounces. That equates to about 25 pints per keg of loss. If you're selling those pints for $5 a piece, you're losing $125 per keg. Kegs draft beer is a very high margin product for bars and restaurants, but it's also a highly perishable product. So just being able to monitor, the temperature, the CO2, and then, be able to justify, does my ounces poured every day, does that equal what my ounces sold for in my point of sale system, and match those
Hmm.
up. And then, bar and restaurant owners can use that for training, termination, different types of processes. But, it's an assumed massive loss in the industry, and we are going to solve that problem.
Nice. That sounds really interesting. It's that's stuff that people don't really think about, right? But it's a great point, and it's something that will bring a lot of value to these bars and restaurants for sure.
Well, and I'll tell you, the best part of it for me is it really combines two of my favorite things in life: IoT and beer. So, a lot of
Yeah,
R and
pick.
D went into it, but it's going to be, and the best part for us is it's got a cellular component to it, right? So then
Mhm.
the cellular carriers will get behind it because it's a unique IoT solution that really solves a problem, but it also gives them that subscriber ad on their side for the airtime.
Yeah, and you could pretty much create your own sector too. IOB, Internet of Beer. You're good to
Yeah,
go. No, but
exactly.
cool, Chris. Well, that's pretty much you've answered all of my questions. Do you have any final comments or thoughts that you want to share to the audience?
Um, you know, I would I would leave it with, keep an eye on us. We're going to have some pretty cool press releases coming out. We're working hard. We're putting partnerships in place that are, really going to be the catalyst for our growth over the next couple of years. And you know, we're uh, we're going to be around for a while, and we're going to be solving problems for people.
Cool. Solving problems equals more money in your pocket, which means more money in investors' pockets. So there we go.
Yeah,
That's good.
exactly.
All right, great. Well, thanks a lot, Chris, for joining us. Again, this is Chris Bursey, the founder and CEO of Direct Communication Solutions. Thanks for taking the time today with us, and hope to hear from you soon. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on you. Take care, Chris. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, bye.
All right, thanks.